I would like to ask the clerk to call House Floor Amendment 1 to House Bill 6.
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 1 to House Bill 6.
Gentleman from Hopkins.
Mr. Speaker, House Floor Amendment 1 has wording changes that ensure entry-level employees are not forced to make compliance process decisions, and those are left to appropriate management levels and agencies. I move to adopt House Floor Amendment 1.
Motion is for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion of the floor amendment? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Floor Amendment 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Hopkins.
Mr. Speaker, Kentucky administrative regulations contain more than 122,000 restrictions, making Kentucky the 23rd most regulated state in the country. The regulatory environment determines how a state thrives or fails to thrive. From corporations to small businesses, to farmers to individual taxpayers, everyone feels the impact of regulation on their daily lives. Regulatory overreach can slow job creation, hamper investment, prevent economic growth. Overregulation is essentially a hidden tax. Too often, important, costly policy decisions are made in Frankfort not by the legislators who are elected by their constituents, but by unelected, unaccountable government officials. It is a tenet of our constitutional republic that elected representatives of the people make the laws that we live by. Executive agencies do not have the inherent authority to issue rules that carry the force and the weight of law. The General Assembly has the authority to set boundaries on lawful delegation of that authority, and that's what this bill does. House Bill 6 would prohibit administrative agencies from issuing rules that impose an economic cost of more than $500,000 over a 2-year period, with several exceptions. Some of those exceptions are an imminent threat to public health, safety, and welfare, prevention of the loss of federal or state funds. They be necessary to meet a deadline established by a federal law, federal regulation, or a state law, necessary to comply with with a final order of a court, or it relates to the licensure and regulation of health facilities. That would be the wording in our state health plan. This policy is proactive instead of reactive. It is different than committee review of regulations because instead of unelected bureaucrats having nearly unlimited power to regulate within the boundaries of a few committee-level checks, this bill restricts authority to regulate to a few situations. If an agency thinks that a new costly rule is important, but it does not meet one of the exceptions, the agency will have to make the case to the General Assembly to pass the law. This is a process that gives the people power to weigh in and keeps bad policies from being imposed upon our citizens. House Bill 6 will rein in government officials and the agencies they lead by adding new guardrails onto the process that state agencies must follow when they wish to issue costly regulations. Mr. Speaker, I move for passage of House Bill 6 as amended by House Floor Amendment 1.